Okay, so here's one of the most underrated movie quotes from one of the best comedies ever. $6? Like $1 an hour. Napoleon is directed by Ridley Scott, stars Joaquin Phoenix, Vanessa Kirby, Tahir Rahim, Ben Miles, John Hollingworth, and Yosef Kurt Gore, hope I'm pronouncing that right, and a personal look at the French military leader's origins and swift, ruthless climb to emperor, viewed through the prism of Napoleon's addictive, volatile relationship with his wife and one true love, Josephine. Hello, you weird, beautiful movie lovers. My name is Louis, and once again, I deeply apologize for my terrible joke in the beginning, and also my terrible, speaking. But, aside from that, Napoleon, we are here talking about Napoleon. I finally watched it yesterday in IMAX, finally, and now that I've seen it, I got some thoughts. So, I was really excited for this movie. I am kind of a fan of Ridley Scott. I haven't seen a lot of his movies, but, I like from what I've seen from him, and I am a fan of Gladiator, and Joaquin Phoenix is one of my favorite actors of all time. Like, genuinely, he has been in some of my favorite, he's done some of the best performances in my opinion with stuff like Joker, Beau is Afraid recently, Walk the Line, even his role in Gladiator, which I feel gets overlooked. I love him as an actor. I think he is brilliant, and I was really excited for this movie. And when the trailer dropped back earlier this year, I think I want to say April, I was really excited for it. And then more of it came along, and I was also really excited for it, and then the reviews came out, and people were really mixed, and I was pretty worried about it. I was hoping I'd like it, and now seeing it, I did enjoy it, actually. I mean, it's not perfect by any means. There is a lot of issues, but for the most part, I did enjoy it. I do feel like it could have been better with it. I was a little disappointed on how I felt off it, because I was expecting it to be at least great, but still, it is very close to great, so I guess it's semi-disappointing, if you will, but still. But anyways, here it is. First off the bat, Joaquin Phoenix in here is great. I was curious to see if this would be a better performance than Beau is Afraid, and I knew it wasn't, and it really isn't, but for the most part, he was really good. As this person, I loved his performance in this. He just acted so greatly with it. And also, like people say, it is kind of a comedy. I mean, I didn't laugh by any means, but I could definitely see the comedy elements, and he just does a great job with it. He has great feelings of emotions, and though I did feel like he didn't have that much emotion with it, admittedly, for the most part, I did like his performance. He was really great in here. Vanessa Kirby, I did really like her in this movie. I did think her character may have, I don't know, what's the word, like, maybe some stuff I would have liked to know a little bit of backstory with her, but even with that, I think with what we got from her, she was great. I really did like her performance. I don't really see her getting nominated for an Oscar. I mainly see Joaquin Phoenix, but if she does, it would be well-deserved, admittedly. Also, the cinematography itself looks great, especially in battle scenes. My personal favorite being, with the ice, the snow, and, that you may have seen in the trailer, and that was really great. I loved the way it looked. The way it was all like, the entire scope of that scene itself was great. All the battle scenes in general, they all are great. They are very big in size, and they really take it to its advantage. The lighting in it looks great. The effects, I'll get into some stuff like that later, did look great for the most part. Maybe some editing flaws with them, but for the most part, I did really like those scenes. Especially the ice one where it was just so great. And I loved seeing, on how he worked on, with what he was like with battles, on how he would plan with it, and it was really interesting, honestly, for the most part. What I didn't expect to find interesting was also his marriage life, which I heard from watching a review that it actually focuses on his marriage life a lot more, and it really does, and though I did prefer the battle stuff with it, I surprisingly did find myself interested with, his marriage life. It was actually pretty interesting, and while some scenes may have not been, and while some scenes, may have been better, I did really enjoy the stuff we got with that, in and of itself. The score, admittedly, I do have one issue with it, is that it feels really overplayed with classical music. I mean, I know that is the point of it, but, I mean, it just used it so much where I feel like it could have used a different kind of it. It could have been better, maybe. But for the most part, yeah, I did enjoy it, for what it was. With it, I did think it was incorporated really well, but for the most part, I did find myself a little frustrated with it, but I did think it was a great job. The composer for it, if you're wondering, is Martin Phipps, and he does do a good job. I don't really see him getting nominated for an Oscar for this, but I kind of hope it does. He does, actually. I don't know. I both love it and hate the score, but for the most part, I do like the score. Sorry for detracting with it, but anyways. The costume design itself was really great. It really puts you in the time period itself, and I did really like that part with it. It was really, it was really well used. I loved it. I loved the simple stuff. I mean, I just really appreciated it. Regarding issues, I did like this movie a lot, but oh boy, there was a lot of issues. First off, the CGI. You know how, Ridley Scott says there's, he wanted to use barely CGI, as barely of CGI there is? Yeah, you can really tell, especially in the first 20 minutes. The two examples I'll give to you is, not one of CGI, but with, a fake head. And it looks so fake. I mean, Jesus Christ. I mean, the blood itself just feels like that joke from Tropic Thunder. I don't know why, it just feels like that. And the other one is with the first battle in the movie, where a horse gets shot really badly, and it felt like it was trying to be a comedy at times, honestly, with that. I mean, you can really tell the CGI with it. Oh my god. It felt like something from a video game, which it felt like it was an unintentional comedy at times. I mean, Jesus Christ. I mean, not in the way that people are saying it, but like, I don't know, it confuses me. There are some, but it does definitely get better, as the movie goes along. It kind of feels like, like you're progressing with something, if you will, if you know what I'm, saying, if you know what I'm trying to say with that. But you can probably tell that, it does have CGI. I didn't really notice it that much, aside from the first 20 minutes. But yeah. The runtime. So, there has now been 3 historical epics of this year, and the other 2 are 3 hours. Oppenheimer, amazing, my second favorite movie of the year. 3 hours flew by. I loved it. I've seen it twice now, and I also recently bought it on 4K, and I can't wait to rewatch it. Second, Killers of the Flower Moon, my third favorite movie. 3.5 hours long. I loved that movie so much. It was so enthralling. I loved that movie. I can't wait to rewatch it. This is definitely the shortest. It's 2.5 hours, running at 158 minutes, and, to be exact, it did feel like a breath of fresh air with historical epics with this year with the runtime, but it really does feel like the longest. I mean, when it gets closer and closer to the ending, it feels like it has like 29 minutes left. I kept on thinking of that in my head, but then it's just like more with it, and it felt like it was really dragging through the mud. I mean, Jesus Christ, it kind of got tiring, admittedly, for me, and I kind of felt uninterested in it. I mean, it never really bored me that much, but for the most part, it did frustrate me, and admittedly, with what I said with the bored stuff, that I wasn't really that bored, I kind of felt like getting it, admittedly, not that bad, but, I was never bored with it. I was always entertained, even though there were some scenes that really dragged on. I guess. But anyways, and also another issue is that it feels like it doesn't have that much emotion with it, like an emotional moment, if you will say. It doesn't feel like it's trying that hard to give you emotions, but admittedly, those are my flaws with it. This is a very flawed movie. Also, the editing itself. For some reason, there's like a big white flash with it, like, that just, I don't know, I mean, it's nitpick, and, there are just certain scenes in this movie, like, it just cuts to it, and it feels so abrupt. I mean, genuinely, I mean, Jesus Christ. But, anyways, those are probably my issues with the movie. But for the most part, I did enjoy Napoleon. I would recommend it. And while I didn't really feel that much immersed with it in IMAX, I would say it's worth seeing it in IMAX for the battle scenes, the scope of it all. And I would recommend watching the movie. I did enjoy it. And I'd recommend it if you like stuff like Gladiator, or are interested in Napoleon, or if you are a huge history buff, since I do love history, since I have been interested by history, and Napoleon is one of the most interesting people ever to exist, whether you find him good or not. He is very interesting, and this movie also puts it with it. I'm curious to see if the 4-hour cut that's coming out on Apple next year will probably add more to it, because it felt like some parts were missing. But for the most part, yeah, I did enjoy it. I'd recommend Napoleon, and I'm gonna give Napoleon a B. So those are my thoughts on Napoleon. What did you think about this movie? Did you love it, hate it? Let's agree, disagree down below in the comments. Come on, tell me. So I don't know I don't know what I'm gonna review soon. Hopefully, maybe I'll give my quick thoughts on, that Bad Guys holiday special. Hopefully gonna try and, bring out my, Walt Disney anime movie ranking all 62 Disney movies. I just need to make my music, and then that'll be me complete for that video. But anyways, for the most part, that is it from me so far. Yeah, stay awesome.